Hello, everybody. My name is Carlos Nolasco. Today, I want to share with you this presentation about my final sociolinguistic research. This is a job that I carry out from my own working space at UPEL Maturin, and it is entitled Age and Use of the Language in the Education Career Specialty English UPEL Maturin. What I did was choose a sociolinguistic topic that could help me get into a study where I can get answers from a certain phenomenon. My agenda for today is as is shown on the screen. The problem, research objectives, theoretical framework, methods, results, conclusions, references, and finally contact with the author. The communicative interaction between the language speaker is fundamental for the exercise of coexistence, the scope of people's particular purposes, the fulfillment of work and social goals, as well as the full understanding of the messages that are shared in the conversations, dialogues, and other forms of communications. In the case of a foreign language, it's even more important because the proper understanding of the statement and their contextualization will depend on their understanding and good relations between the participants in the interaction. In these linguistic interactions, age is a very important factor for the achievement of the speaker's purposes, since its connection with the use of the language is equally evolutionary and gradual as other abilities. While the greater the age progress, it is estimated that the cognitive and linguistic structures are expanded, and that definitely makes it able to have greater efficiency and competence in the language command. As we look in this slide, the age is a characteristic that defines a personal attitude. Of course, it influences aspects such as the use of the language, whether native or foreign, because from there derives a linguistic behavior aware of grammatical conventions, context, culture, among others. Okay, therefore, the following objective has been formulated. My main objective of this investigation is analyze the incidence of age in the use of the language in the education career specialty English from UPEL Maturin. There are many researchers that have been working with this topic, but in this research I just chose three of them. The first one is Holmes, who specifies that younger people will use less of the standard form of the language and adults will use more. The way in which the speaker carry out the speech acts in which they participate will depend on the age, as well as how they attend to grammatical conventions, phonetic, lexical, syntactic, morphological, and pragmatic. Let's see what Serrano 1998 says. It is admitted that a sociolinguistic analysis should incorporate, in addition to formal data related to its grammatical nature, data concerning to communicative interaction, such as speech, feature, pragmatic circumstances, and relate all these to its social projection. As for Labov, 1984, the main objective is to elicit as much speech as possible from the participant. However, sociolinguistic interviews are, in some sense, a conversation. In this line of thought, Khalifa, 2012, affirms that age has a great incidence not only in learning a language, but also in its use, since the early exposure to the language that an individual has is the key for making their learning progress more effective and efficient. Having presented this theoretical framework, These three authors gave me the ideas to go inside my research very orientated so I could have a clear approach to this topic. Now, let's talk about the method. A qualitative approach was chosen to carry out this research with a qualitative approach because it was intended to address aspects related to age and its incidence in the interaction of the participants of a speech community. As for the design, we chose an ethnographic design. This study was approached with an ethnographic method, just like the one described by Levon 2013, who states ethnography is the study of how the members of a community behave and why they behave in that way. Ethnography is normally conducted through prolonged observations and direct participations in the community life in the form of ethnographic. As for the participants, the research participants were made of two subjects, in attention to the objectives outlined in the work, and considering the contrast criteria in the use of the English language by subjects of different ages. It should be noted that the participants are inhabitants of the city of Maturin, where the university is located. This city stands out for having an urban population, capital of Monagas State, characterized by the presence of the oil industry and livestock. Neither of them belongs to any ethnic group or indigenous community. Likewise, their socioeconomic condition is associated with a condition of dependence on their parents, who in turn are located in the working class, with insufficient income to access some training, recreation, and tourism services, among others. The information collection technique and instrument were based on an interview and the use of an interview script. And to follow this pursuit, we kept four phases. In the first phase, we select the potential participants, get the permission of them to present interview proposals to the students in order to be able to agree on a meeting and apply the corresponding interview. On phase 2, we proceed to do the application of the interview in a context in which an attempt was made to generate the freedom conditions necessary for the participants to feel free and without coercion. On phase 3, once the students were completed, they were transcribed. It means when the interview were already done, we proceed to transcribe all the information we collect. And on phase 4, the speech samples analysis were carried out in attention to the objective of the work as well as the assumed theoretical basis. Since the research script had 5 questions, I was supposed to make 5 charts. However, for my resource, I chose 3 of the 5 charts because they were too extensive to explain. Anyway, on table 2, I tried to find information about the participants' rate, about their experiences with the English prior to entering the university. The question is, how do you rate your experiences with English prior to entering university? The 21 years old participant answered, they were very basic experiences. They only focus on identified parts of the speech, the study of tenses with the most used verb in English, as well as aspects such as dialogues and for memorizing words and answering questions mechanically, changing the order of sentence. So, with that, not much is learned. As for the 33 years old participant, we have the following answer. Truly, it is as if they didn't exist, because now is when I am truly seeing the language as a whole, with the characteristics, forms, interpretations, connections that they have with each other. On table 3, I want to explain the result of the question that I asked the two participants. Evaluation of the participants about the experiences with English prior entering to the university. And the question is, how do you evaluate your performance in the communication you developed in English? The 21 years old participant answered, evaluation at this time is difficult because I feel that I need still to learn many things, not only grammatically, but also with respect to culture, because it is useless to know vocabulary, rules, among other things, and not place oneself in how or why they are used in direct communications between those who participate in a conversation. As for the 33 years old participant, he answers, my performance is in progress. At this moment, I am committed to my evolution. I am studying and practicing a lot to continue training. As for table number 4, the question was, which language area do you think you have the greatest skill? Speaking, reading, writing, or listening? The 21 years old participant answered, at this moment I feel that my writing has improved a lot. I feel that I pay more attention to grammatical conventions and rules, the use of appropriate verb tenses above all. And the 33 years old participant answered, without doubt, writing is where I think I have the best performance or competence, although I think I should practice listening a lot, since it is what allows us to improve. Finally, I want to share with you my conclusions. First conclusion, the age and the singularity expressed in the speech acts of the participants showed that the lack of contact, interaction, and training with the language in the stage prior to the university level is a cause that conditions their use of the language. Conclusion number 2. The result described above allowed us to affirm that sociolinguistic aspects, such as age, are circumstances that directly affect the communicate interaction process, specifically in the way in which the subject elaborate their messages, handle the grammatical convention of the language, elaborate the meaning that attribute to words and phrases, as well as general comment of the language. And conclusion number 3. It is recommended that future research which has to do with this influence of age and other factors associated with the social, personal, geographical, and cultural condition of the participants be carried out with considering research instruments that not only recognize these sociolinguistic variables by separate but integrated. Well, those are my references, the 7 references that I used for doing this research. Well, to close my presentation, I want to thank you for your attention. It was really a hard job we did in such a short time, but we try our best. However, I want to thank especially teacher Evelyn for being that open to listen to our opinions and questions about this. And I hope in the future this research job can be continued ahead just as a base for eventual um, trabajo de grado. Thank you very much for your attention. My name is Carlos Nolasco again, and this is where you can contact me. Thank you.